Welcome to this week's 52 Circles, and our prompt is RIP. So I'm starting with my calico circle, a piece of coloured paper, some paint and some sticky tape. So I'm going to start by covering the piece of paper with paint because I want to have a strong tonal contrast when I rip it. So I'm just painting across this surface quite loosely. Any colour will do as long as it's a really stark contrast to the paper. I'm going to put the paper through the sewing machine, so I don't want to use anything too thick. Whilst that's just drying off, I'm going to rip some bits of sticky tape. So this is just a paper adhesive parcel tape, and I'm just putting that down onto the fabric to act as a mask. So I'm just using that ripped edge to create a different pattern across the surface of the circle. So placing them at random, kind of trying to create a contrast of marks. And then I'm just going to use some diluted acrylic, just what's left on my brush, to put across the surface. You don't want it to be too thick. The thicker the paint you use, the harder it is to stitch through. I've dried that off on the ironing board, and I'm just revealing those kind of masked layers, and I quite like the pattern that's created. I also really like this. I put the paper in between some bits of calico to dry them off, and it created a really lovely mark, so that will get used for something in the future. Now you can see when I rip the paper, I then get a deliberate edge that's the colour of the paper underneath, so you could be really clever about using contrasting colours or collecting different weights of paper, different types of paper to create different effects. And I'm then putting these under the sewing machine, using my embroidery foot to just do some free machine stitch that kind of emulates the line of the ripped edge of the paper across the surface. And again, I've used a really visibly contrasting thread because I wanted to show you the effect, but you could choose a palette that's more in keeping with your coloured strips of paper. Just trimming it round with some scissors to create the circle, and here's my finished sample. So the theme is RIP, and I look forward to seeing yours. Don't forget to share with the hashtag 52Circles. Have a great week.